What is your definition of a personal brand?
The way you walk, the type of clothes that you wear, how you present yourself, everything is your personal brand.
Some common mistakes that people make.
Trying to copy the other person.
How important is social media in building a personal brand? And which platforms do you recommend focusing on?
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Indian Community Podcast. Today we have an exciting guest with us, Sahil Sachdeva, the dynamic entrepreneur behind LevelUp PR. Sahil is an expert in personal branding, a crucial skill in today's digital age. He has also helped numerous individuals and businesses elevate their brands and achieve their goals. In this episode, we'll deep dive into the world of personal branding, uncovering the strategies and insights that have made Sahil a sought-after name in the industry. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a professional, or someone looking to build a strong personal brand, this episode is packed with valuable takeaways. So welcome to the Indian Community Podcast, Sahil.
Welcome, Sahil.
Thank you so much, Amit, for that beautiful introduction. I'm so excited to be with you and Rahul, you as well. So let's get into it. Really excited.
Excellent, Sahil. So, Sahil, let's start off with your journey. And I believe I've seen a lot of interesting stuff about your journey, but it would be great to hear it from you yourself. And what inspired you to specialize in personal branding and set up LevelUp PR? So, can you take us through your history?
Definitely. So I think personal branding is something, that I eventually came into. It was very organic for me. So like when I was child, I used to dream that I want to become a pilot, I want to do different things. So I explored a lot of different things in my life. Okay. So as a child, I was a go-getter, I was very stubborn that I used to just go behind things and get it. For example, I remember a incident from my 10th class. So earlier, like I used to just cry and get things from my father. So in 10th class, me and my father, we had a bet that if I score more than 85%, he is going to get me my dream bike, which was R15. Okay. So I scored like 87% in my board exams and I was able to get the bike. So at that point, I realized if there's anything that you need in life, there's a price that you need to pay for it. Okay. And then I went to college. After that, I did mechanical engineering as a in my graduation. So that was something. At that point I was not even sure like what I want to do in my life. A lot of individuals like don't have that clarity. Even I did not have that clarity like 4 years back from now what I do want to do with my life. So I just kept trying different things. So in my college I built a satellite with NASA sponsored competition. I was part of multiple societies. I was leading some clubs which were related to, cars. I was leading a club which was related to chemical society. So I used to, be a leader everywhere. I used to organize events at my college as well. So all of that really helped me, grow my leadership skills. So during my college, I started my first startup that was called Takens. So Takens was all about, renting books. So initially we started with the idea of books that if someone wants to, need a thing for short period, or we started with a book. Let's say you want to read a book, you don't want to buy it, and also for sustainability practices, like just rent a book from our platform, read it and return it. Okay. And my goal was to add everything on this platform, whether it's jewelry, whether it's laptops, furniture, all those things. So we started building that platform and we initially started with books, and I pitched to a lot of different investors. Okay. So I pitched it, although I was not able to grab any funding at that moment, I tried for over a year. Like I had, a team also. So we had a team from our college. So we tried for over a year and I thought this was going to be the next $1 billion company, but it never happened. And, I just put my own some funds into it from, what I made in my college. So in my college, I used to work as a counselor. So during the summer vacations that we have, I used to work with my college and I used to, people used to come for an admission to the college. I used to show them the college around. So I used to get like 250 per day paid. So I made around 6 to 7,000, in a month. So I used to work for 2 to 3 months, making like 20,000. So I worked for a couple of years, so I had some savings. So that savings I put into my startup, although I did not make anything out of it. So after my startup, it failed. I thought of doing different things. So I did some acting. So I starred in a couple of music videos. I did a short movie. So that I felt really interesting. And I also thought that I could also explore singing, because singing was like my childhood passion. I used to be a bathroom singer. Before that I had never sang publicly. I used to be singing in bathroom only. So I thought, let's just explore this also, because I am a person that does not want any regrets in my life. I will explore and see if it's something for me, and if it doesn't work out, it's fine. So I explored singing also, and I started liking it. And then I learned from the best teachers in the town. I learned Bollywood songs. I learned the Indian classical, English music as well. So once I was a little confident, I started performing in cafes, bars, wedding events for little to no money. So I used to get paid. Like I did a lot of free shows as well in the beginning to build my profile. And once I built my profile, I used to get paid like sometimes 3,500 for a show, sometimes 5,000, sometimes 8,000, 10,000, right? So I used to have my own band. So I did music for almost like 2 years. So I used to perform in different cafes. And then in back in 2020, COVID hit. So in 2020, COVID hit, all the shows and everything got cancelled. So at that moment, everything came back to zero again. I wasn't able to grab any good college placement. I failed my tech startup that I launched. And then this music thing also, like failed because of the COVID thing. So again, I had to, figure out something, because I have a very restless energy. I can't just sit idle. I want to do something with my time. So, after that COVID thing, I joined my, family business. My father has a family business. So I started helping him in my free time and helped him escalate his business. Okay. But I found out that, this business is something that, I'm not really enjoying. For me, it's also that, I should love what I do. It's not just about money. So I helped him, grow his business, and then I started exploring of more different things I could do with my time. So there was actually one comment on my Instagram. I was really good at marketing. I was doing these shows here and there. I was putting out content on my social media. So there was just one comment who, someone commented that, Sahil, you're overhyped. Okay, your marketing is too good for your music or your voice. So I was just an average musician, because at that point I've only learned for like 1.5 year. My voice was not the best, I agree, but I was doing good marketing. I was getting some, I was getting known in the town that some new musician has came. Okay, so I took it in a positive way. I never get sad at these like hating comments. So I saw a great opportunity here, that I was good at marketing. So at that point I thought, like the COVID is happening and there are no shows. Why not just use the skill of marketing and PR that I have, and help other musicians with growing their online presence. So at that moment I decided that I will start a agency and I will help other musicians grow their online presence. So that's how it came to reality. And after that, it has been like a long journey. Like I never stopped. I helped so many musicians, and after that I saw a great potential that entrepreneurs also need online branding. So we helped people from different fields. We helped lawyers, real estate professionals, different fields. Like we have helped like top 1% entrepreneurs in 25 plus countries to build their personal brand. So after that, they're no looking back, and we've come to a point where now we have 20 plus employees who work with us. We have a 10,000 square feet office building in Mohali, and everything is going well. And the goal is to be like the greatest PR firm.
Cool.
Excellent. So what I love about this story, Sahil, is that a troll inspired you to become this, right? So thanks to all the trolls, we get our share of trolls as well. So Rahul and I, we receive a lot of comments, and some of them are trolls, just like you said, and it's great to see how you use that positive energy of yours to convert that negativity into something that your parents would be proud of, right? To see, okay, yes, you look at Sahil and see what he's setting up. So it's very inspiring there.
Right, right.
Right. So it's been great, like after that, I've never looked back, and we have been constantly growing from the moment I had no office. I literally started from my bed with little to no money to my name, and then opening my first office in Ambala. So I actually belong to Ambala,
Mhm.
and I moved to Chandigarh, Mohali like a couple of years back. So I
Mhm.
started in 2020, then in 2021, I opened my first office, which was like a 500 square feet office in Ambala. I had my first employee over there, and then I just wanted to move out of Ambala because it's a small town. You don't have a lot of talent over there. So I moved to Chandigarh in 2022, and then I opened my first office building. Then we have scaled from there, and I also got my parents moved here because they believe in my vision. They see that he's doing great. So we also closed a couple of businesses that we had in Ambala because they trusted my vision, and all of the family moved to Chandigarh.
That's cool.
That's even cool. So that's so you not only built it, but you also proved it, and you brought your family along. So that's great.
And gaining the trust of parents at
Yeah.
such a young age is a big thing. Yeah,
Right. I think I had to do it, of course, for whatever they have done
absolutely.
for me. It's my time to give back.
Absolutely, absolutely. Sahil, I have a question that, why is personal branding so important in today's digital landscape? And how a strong personal brand impacts an individual's career or business?
Right. I would say personal branding is really, really important because we need to understand that, people are relating with
Mhm.
people and not business logos. Okay. Whenever, we are interacting, it's not like two companies having a conversation. It's the people who are running these businesses, right? So if you have a personal brand, you are putting out content regularly on social media, like people tend to relate with you more. Okay.
Yes.
Like if you take an example of, let's say, Aman Gupta. Okay. Aman Gupta, the founder of Boat. This guy, because of all the features he's getting in Shark
Mhm.
Tank, they're getting so much free press, free marketing, that they have to stop their campaign for 3 months, which is worth a lot of marketing dollars. So this is how powerful PR is for them. And even for me, I'll give you my own example. I think around 20 to 40% of the revenue that we get in our specific agency is because of the personal brand that I have in my company. Okay. If I am going to let's say doing cold outreach from my personal account to a big entrepreneur that has like million of followers. Okay. And because of the presence that I have, because of I've been on podcasts, I've been on press outlets, I've been on a television show, I'm posting content consistently, these people tend to have a conversation with me. Okay. They tend to at least reply to me. If I was to do same from a business account, they wouldn't do so. The reply rate is very less.
Okay.
So because of the personal brand I have, they tend to trust us more, and then deals are closed with more ease. So that's why it's so important to have a personal brand.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's great. Sahil, how would you define a personal brand? Right? Because I think there are a lot of interpretations or definitions of a personal brand, right? If you ask 10 marketing or brand advisors, they'll give you 10
Right.
different answers. So, what is your definition of a personal brand, and what are the key success pillars to build a personal brand?
My personal brand definition would be that the moment you step out of your house, I would say, or even you're within the house, that is your personal brand. The way you walk, the type of clothes that you wear, how you present yourself, the ethics that you have, that your company runs on, or the ethics that you have, the way you talk to others, everything is your personal brand. Okay. The people that you hang around with, everything is your personal brand. So you have to be very conscious about it. And the main thing here is that you have to be authentic. We see a lot of people, they have a different personal life, and then they have a different, the way they are seen on social media is different. I think that's where it gets difficult. Like faking is quite difficult. I would say you have to be authentic. Just be your real self. And even if you have failed in life, even if you have low moments, you need to be authentic. You can share it on social media because people tend to relate more. So
Yeah.
just be authentic, and whatever you are, you know present that, I would say, in the best possible manner, and people will relate to you more. I think the best content pillars or the best would be that you have to be authentic first of all. So present whatever you are, and then be consistent in the approach. So be
Got it.
consistent and maintain what you have. It shouldn't be that at one moment you're saying this and another moment you're saying this. So be consistent in your brand voice and be also consistent in your online presence. Like, be consistently showing up. So be omnipresent, be on all the platforms and get most attention. Because if you want to make more money, I would say, get attention. Attention is the biggest currency.
No, absolutely. And I loved one part of your statement where you mentioned it is who you are at home. It is who you actually are, right? Your personality is your personal brand. And जैसे आप घर पे हो, जैसे आप अपने फैमिली के साथ हो, the way you with your friends, that's also building your personal brand. It's not uh, घर पे आदमी ऐसा है, बाहर ऐसा है,
Right.
people have split personalities, right? And that is probably sometimes leading to a fake personal brand. But I love the
Hmm.
way that you visualized it for us. So thank you. Yeah.
Sahil, can you put some light on some common mistakes that people make when trying to build their personal brand, and how these mistakes can be avoided or corrected?
I think the common mistakes that people make when building their personal brand is, I think they just get, you know, what the other person is doing, like, getting distracted, like trying to copy the other person, like, you're trying to become a person who you are not. It's great that you take, inspiration from other people who are doing great in the industry, who have great personal brands, but that's not you. You have to see that what is your story. Okay, so be authentic, as I said before, like share your own story, because every story is different and every story is unique. Okay, so you come up with your own story and you share it. Don't make a mistake of trying to be someone else that you're not, because people will not be able to relate with you. So just be authentic. And I think this is the easiest thing to do, of course. It sounds, very, I would say it's difficult, but it's very simple when it comes to it. Yeah, you just have to be yourself. You don't have to be just someone else.
But
It's
Sahil,
difficult, but I think it's
it's
very simple.
it's easy to say this, right? And I'm going to throw a curveball back at you, because a lot of people are also shy. They have this syndrome, or there is this fear of what will people think. Uh,
Right.
how are people going to judge me, especially when you are starting off. Once you've
Of
you've been in the game for some time, then you develop thick skin, right? फिर फर्क नहीं
Yes.
पड़ता. But when you are initially starting off, there is this jijak that everybody has. Everybody is reluctant to kind of get started, and I think a lot of people are not building their own personal brands is because they are overly judging themselves even more than others. So, what do you do in such situations, especially when somebody comes to you and says, "I want to be a personal brand, but I'm very conscious of myself."
I think this is again the mindset issue, of course. So if you look at my personal videos, and if you look at my content, like I wasn't this confident always. Like, I used to suck at speaking. Like there was a time when I used to, do public speaking. I wasn't able to speak like 30 seconds on stage. I had no content. And to the time, I have spoken for multiple companies, like given speeches for like 10, 20 minutes without, stopping. So I think it's a mindset issue that we need to fix, that we need to understand that whenever we're going to do something for the first time, we're going to suck. Okay, so anything that we're doing for the first time, we're going to suck at the beginning and we're not going to be the best self. So I think this is a mindset issue, that don't focus on being perfect. Okay, we need to start gathering proof. We need to do more, goals. We need to do just more reps. Once you do more repetitions, you just start getting better at it. So I think this is a mindset that we explain to people, or we tell people that it's okay, you're going to suck at the beginning. Just keep that in your mind, but just keep improving at every single step. Okay, so just keep getting better, optimize and see where you can improve, and just keep growing. Okay, so
That's
for example, when people come to us for a PR plan, right? I mean, I wouldn't just get them on a public speaking stage directly, right? So we create like a roadmap for them. So initially, I think the most comfortable that people are with is, written form of content. Okay, so we interview our clients and we create some sort of written content in their brand voice, and then we send it back to them for approval. They edit it in their voice, and then we post it. Once someone is comfortable with, written form of content, um, we can also start exploring little things like getting them into, let's say, podcast. Okay, podcast could be arranged. Once they're comfortable with the podcast, we could put them up on a speaking stage. Also, we have had clients who are on George Talks, TEDx. So it's a step by step thing that, that they need to like checklist slowly and slowly.
Mhm.
yeah, baby
So
steps, one day at a time.
right.
That's good. So, Sahil, we have all grown up reading one beautiful book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right? And the author of that book, Mr. Robert Kiyosaki, you recently helped him get 10 million impressions in less than 2 weeks. Yeah, I was so fascinated by that when you told me about that. And can you share with this audience in terms of first is how you did that, and how was your meeting with Robert Kiyosaki? What was that takeaway? What did you learn? Because this man has taught pretty much everybody in this world, right? Whoever has read that book, and you got an opportunity to work so closely with him. So one is how did you get him those impressions, and second is what did you learn from him?
Right. So I got an opportunity to work with Robert Kiyosaki back in September, August last year, when he was coming to India for a growth summit. So the producers of this event, growth summit, they reached out to me on LinkedIn. So they might have just organically searched me, like a personal branding expert or a PR expert, and they just found my profile. Okay. So there they reached out to me. They told me that, they're doing this huge event and they want to do some PR around it. Okay, so we had a great conversation. We showed them this is what we could do, and we had a great collaboration. So we discussed, and the guys needed some help with digital press, some podcasts. They wanted some press at the event. So we did all of that, and we arranged some great podcasts for Robert Kiyosaki. So the 10 million thing impressions is that when we, whenever we are working with the client, it's really important to understand who this person would fit the best for. Okay, since Robert was very into the finance field, right, real estate or finance, money related, so we pitched to multiple people who were great, in this specific field. Okay, so we reached out to Sharon and Finance with Sharon. He has more than, I think, 2-3 million followers on
Correct.
YouTube. So of course, he was really excited to do it. So we made that podcast collaboration happen, and it was short and it really went viral all over the internet. So Finance with Sharon had a podcast with them. We had Beer Biceps who did a podcast with them. Then there's another channel called 𝐂𝐭𝐡. They did a podcast with him, and all of the reels, everything went really viral, and he reached like 10 million plus impressions in around 2 weeks. So that was a great experience working with him. And of course, I have like grown up reading his book. So I never thought, I would get an opportunity to work with him. So maybe it's like, the universe just sent me an opportunity, and I was
Correct.
all ready to make use the, get the best out of it. So a lot of learnings from him, of course, that, you have to be wise with your money. So invested in real estate. So that's what I have done. I invested in my office building. So it has grown by, I would say, more than 150% now. So invested in real estate. So a lot of great learnings. Great guy, had a great time with him. There were like 5,000 plus people. So built some great connections with there.
Nice, nice. Yeah, that's definitely a dream come true, especially for a lot of people in our generation who've kind of grown up reading that book. So I think a lot of people are also going to be jealous of you to have had the opportunity to work so closely with Robert. So yeah, great stuff.
Right. So that's what I've been focusing on. Like Robert sir teaches that you have to be a business owner, and you have to focus on things that, like make the business grow.
Hmm.
So you have to be like more of a visionary. So at this stage, I'm trying to be more of a person who is, like looking from a like bird's eye of view, like, what's happening overall, and delegating as much as possible. So at this stage, I focus on doing mostly the sales, like the last calls in my business, and everything else is taken care by my team. So just focusing on building a business that serves me and not, like serving the other way around.
Got it.
Sahil, my next question is a very basic one, but a very important one. I want to ask you how important is social media in building a personal brand, and which platforms do you recommend focusing on?
I would say platform wise, it really depends. Okay. So first of all, like why social media is important.
Yes.
So back in the times, like when there was no social media, right? That times were different. But now that everybody is on social media, on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, people are searching you up on Google, right? So it's just like your digital card, like I don't use a physical card anymore. Whenever I'm going to events, I just give them my Instagram, my LinkedIn, we connect there, right? So whenever people are looking you up, you need to make sure that you are, creating a narrative, or you're having an online presence that someone is impressed by. Because if your social media is not impressive enough, you are not creating content, you don't have the numbers, like people will be very less likely to buy your product or have a conversation, or invested in you. Okay, so that's why social media is really important. So create as much content as possible around who you are as a person, share your values. You could share some educational topics around your industry. Let's say if someone is into like a lawyer, okay, they could share some news about laws, what's happening new in their industry. If someone is you know going through this specific situation, this is what they could do. So start creating educational stuff around who you are, what you do, and anything valuable that you think. So that is going to help you build your social media. And coming to the platform side, it really depends, what type of audience you want to, cater to. Let's say if you are into more of a business to business thing, I think LinkedIn is going to be a great platform. Okay, so like a lot of business owners are active on LinkedIn. So maybe you can start building a thought leadership profile over there. So maybe like written form of content. And if you are someone who is in the B2C space, you interact with young audience and a lot of consumers, like a broad one, you could go to Instagram or Facebook. So Instagram is good. And if you are someone who is, you can decide, if you like writing more, I think LinkedIn is better, or you can go for Twitter also. Okay. And if you are someone like who is more into visual content, videos, then I think Instagram is for you. So decide, what your audience is about and the type of content that you are comfortable doing. So based on that, you can decide.
Okay. I really liked actually when you said that, Instagram and LinkedIn, these are your business cards today. You know, not,
Yeah.
that's a very big statement that you made. In fact, actually, if we look at it, if we think about it seriously, then we'll get to know that, what we are missing if we are not putting ourselves regularly on those.
Right. I've built so many great relationships, just through my social media, I'll tell you. I've closed deals worth, $25,000 all through Instagram DMs only. Like messaging the other person, like cold DMing, having a little bit of conversation, bringing them on a discovery call, creating a customized strategy and presenting them a plan, all through, like an Instagram cold DM where it started. So it's a gold mine of opportunity, I can say. So if you know how to use it the right way, like you can make a lot of money on social media. Like, but people are just wasting, like their time scrolling through reels, watching funny cats and dogs videos.
So see, there's a lot of, consumers and sellers. So you are the seller and the other people are consumers.
You need the consumers
Yeah,
too. So let's not complain about them. And at one time of the day, Rahul and me, we are both consumers.
big consumers.
They need to
So
be balanced.
so Sahil, the fun part is Rahul and me also started off like this. So we are friends from a long time, right? 20 years. But friends will send reels to each other. So reels mein hi, we started talking, and then we said, okay, let's talk about work also sometimes. हमेशा हम लोग reels खेलते हैं. And then we eventually came together and started
Hmm.
this. So so that is also important.
Right. We just need to find the right balance, I believe.
Correct, correct, correct. So, Sahil, now the industry around us is changing dramatically. We are all seeing AI. It has knocked on our doors, even opened many doors now, and there's Chat GPT and so many other platforms out there which are enabling people to create content, very easily. Um,
Hmm.
we are also seeing a creator economy where a lot of people are going on to YouTube and Insta and TikTok and Snapchat and all of these platforms to kind of become personal brands in their own rights, right? I'm
Right.
seeing, women who are selling products from their basements, right?
Hmm.
They're just based on the personal brand that they're creating, or men
Right.
who are selling perfumes or even makeup and accessories from different parts of the world. So we are seeing a lot of people do all these different things. So there's a big push towards becoming
Hmm.
personal brands. Everybody's going in that creator economy space. So 5 years and then 10 years down the line, how do you
Hmm.
visualize what's going to be the future? Right, today we
Hmm.
see companies as large companies, right? So these are large companies, and now I'm seeing individual solopreneurs who are kind of going out there and creating their own enterprises, and pretty much
Hmm.
million-dollar companies of two people, three
Right.
people organizations, right? So, how are you, and what is the trend that you're seeing in the industry, especially when you're talking to people? Where do you
Hmm.
think this is going to be in the next 5 to 10 years? And is this going to be an overly crowded, saturated market? Are you,
Hmm.
what are your predictions?
Hmm. I think like personal branding has been growing since the last I think 3 to 4 years now, and it's continuing to grow. Like people are focusing more on this, and like I think people who are consistent with their brand voice, who are doing this ethically, who have some sort of depth in their content, they are continuing to grow. Like
Mhm.
there's no end to it. Like there's a lot of, I would say, like a lot of people are just copying and pasting a lot of there's AI content. Like there's no depth to it. I think those people will, slowly get, out of the process because they wouldn't see results. And so many people are just trying to become creators or, like influencers just for like that short term kick, short term gain. So that's not something I think going to happen. So of course we'll see some people like rise. There will be some people who will leave this, but personal branding is going to stay, and I think it's going to of course help people build 7 8 figure companies. I would say not 9 figure companies, because a 9 figure is something that it's more of a tech and automated thing. Like personal brand can only do so much. So if you're something who are in like a service based business, I think personal brand is a great opportunity for you.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, I see that too, right? I see that a lot of individuals are trying out, but they're not being consistent. So that
Right.
lack of consistency also starts hurting, and then eventually you taper off and you don't do it. But
I
what
think
I'm
people what they do is like they're trying to get they do so much just to get the attention, and
Mhm.
they're not doing enough to be great at what they want to do. Okay, so just focus on being good at your art also, not just focus on getting the attention and putting more of it. So you have to balance out and be great and then try to get attention, not the other way
Correct.
around.
So, and I think if I have to summarize everything that you have said to us today, right? Being authentic, being consistent, being present, and being really good at what you do. So, if you look
Right.
at the examples of the food farmer, right? He's really good at the knowledge that he has about the labels and the
Right.
products, and he's so consistently out there, audaciously speaking about these brands, and he's able to get that attention. He's built a beautiful personal brand in a very very short time. So I think there is an opportunity, but as you said, you have to be authentic and you have to be consistent. So, Sahil, as if you look at, one is the creator. We also spoke a little bit about the consumer, and in many parts of the world we will call it the communities, right? So we, for example, are the Indian community, right? So how important is building a community to personal branding? Is there a relationship? Is there do you see that connection between building a tribe or a community of people who love you and who follow you and want to listen to you and want to see you more often? How do you recommend somebody starts building one? Because initially you don't have a community, right? So you're going to start with one and then it's going to slowly grow. So what are the key steps that you would recommend?
I mean, I would think that the best steps to build a community is providing free value. Okay, like not everybody can work with me. Not everybody can work with you because let's say of the price points. Okay, I think content is what like is going to help you build a community. So that's why I spend so much money on the content. A lot of people out there spend so much money on the content side, just to build a community, just to build like a loyal tribe of people. Okay, so provide as much value as possible because it's going to come back to you. Let's say it always comes back to you. It might not come from the same person that you are trying to deliver that content to or that value to, but it would come to you from another person in the world. So always focus on giving value as much as possible without thinking of how it's going to come back to me. Okay, so just focus on giving, and what you deserve, I think, will come back to you. So
So
that's what I have been doing, been coming back to me. And recently, I like to mention that we've also adopted a few children whom we are sponsoring their education. So it always comes back, focus on providing to your community, focus on providing for your family, your friends. So that's what is always going to come back.
So give before you get, sow before you reap is your mantra, right?
Yes, right.
Excellent, excellent. So wonderful, Sahil. I really appreciate you giving us your time, sharing all these incredible insights. We're going to keep knocking on your door regularly to listen in, tune in to what you're doing. Maybe next time you're meeting up Robert Kiyosaki, we'll welcome him and host him on the Indian Community Podcast as well. I'm really thrilled to see how you shared your story, right? You started off with your failures and all your attempts, and then of course now you're at a place where I would definitely call it as success. And success is because now your parents are also with you and they're also enjoying the dream that you're building together, right? So I
Right.
think this is really wonderful, and it's a pleasure to have you on this show. We wish you all the best and your team at Level Up Success. And we want to make sure that our listeners find you. So all the links to Sahil's Instagram account, LinkedIn account, and his website will be in as part of the description and the comments below, so that we make sure that people find you. And of course, they'll find you irrespective. If they just type your name, they'll find you. But we'll add the links on this as well. And any last comments from you for the Indian community, because you've been seeing what we've been doing and what we're trying to do here. We're trying to bring the community together in one global platform. So, what
Right.
are your thoughts and observations on us?
I would say I'm really glad of what you're doing. I've had the pleasure of watching a few of your shows. Like I watched the one that you did with the women founder, I think of Prithvi, a brand.
Right.
So the great content that you're putting out, it's great. And I think Indians are doing really well all over the world. We are leading some of the biggest companies, so it's only going to grow. My message to any Indians out there, who are listening to this show is that um, if there's anything that you want to do in this world, you can do it. Like there's nothing that's out of your league. So just
Hmm.
go for it, and you will find the way. You will find the way. And if you don't find the way, just seek for help. Like there are so many people, like mentors. You can reach out to me if there's something I can help with, Ahmed, Rahul. So just have that vision, just go for it and you will make it big.
Excellent. And yes, and if you're in Mohali, Chandigarh, please stop by to Sahil's office. I'm sure he'll treat you to some good lassi and also share some good personal branding insights with you.
Definitely. I also know you love chole bhature.
I think now the secret is out. Right, that's true. Chole bhature is one of our favorites too.
No worries. I'll make sure that I have that in the menu as well.
Oh yes, and chole bhature, especially if you're in Punjab, right? I think that
Right.
is at a very different level altogether. So
Yeah.
that's another league. Excellent.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, Sahil.
Thank you, Sahil.
All right. Thank you so much for having me.